Hello and welcome back to This or That with Kobe and Dash, presented by Verizon. We are approaching playoffs, my friend.
It's playoffs, baby.
The new format has me so excited too, because right off the bat we get TSM Team Liquid, 100 Thieves versus Cloud9. We're starting with just the best teams playing each other in best of series at the very beginning. Like, we get a little dessert before we even have the main event.
Absolutely gorgeous. Then you still have Evil Geniuses and Dignitas to make things interesting when a couple teams get knocked to the lower bracket. Before we dive into slides, smash that subscribe button, do the thing, so that I can stop yelling this at you
LCS
every week.
Not just esports anymore. We moved to a new home, and our new home is better.
It's new.
Kind of.
New is good. All right, slide one. More valuable to Team Liquid, is it Santorin or Alphari? Why you gotta make me choose?
I don't know if you have filled out your ballot yet, James, but
I
just did my ballot. I know you were busy today. I just spent my day, filling out some of my ballot for MVP.
All right, so help me fill mine out then.
All LCS. And let me tell you, Alphari was pretty high up there. He was, for me, the #1 top laner in the LCS.
Yeah.
Santorin, also very high up there on my jungler ranking, but I did have him below a certain former fish of a player.
Yeah.
Yes, Blabberfish too.
The
and honestly,
fish.
Santorin was even really high, close to him as well for MVP talk. But I had to put Alphari in there, so I'm going Alphari. I have him as an MVP candidate for the whole league.
Yeah. I think you're right. If he is the top of my top lane tier list as well, and if he's probably second to Blabber, and I have not made my decision on MVP candidates yet, but it is probably the closest in the running. So I think based on those two things, he absolutely has to be chosen as more valuable to TL. So I'm with you. It's that.
Okie dokie. Next slide. Let's see what we got. Tournament favorite. Cloud9 or anyone else?
Anyone? We can choose anyone else.
I gotta take anyone else. That's just too many options right here. You get a nice variety pack here. Team Liquid and TSM are probably the two best flavors in that variety pack. That's like the barbecue and sour cream and onion or something, and the rest of them might be flavors you don't like as much. But there's still tremendous value in that pack. And while Cloud9 did finish first, it was by no means a spring 2020 first style finish.
Okay. So you're reading this Cloud9 or the field, essentially, as opposed to Cloud9 or take your pick of the other 5.
Oh, there's putting a whole pack right there. Is anyone else, James?
I know.
Not just this one of those. If you're betting, if you are putting money on this right now, even if you're just putting a couple blue essence on it.
It's Cloud9. It's Cloud9.
Okay.
And there's one reason. His name is Perks. He's got 8 LEC titles.
That's only one reason?
That's it. That's the only reason I need Kobe. He has 8 LEC titles. And the man wants to be the second player in history to hold both EU and NA titles next to Sven, his AD carry. I think Perks has not even shown us. I don't think Perks has shown us his top form yet. I think they've been holding back, and he's going to pop off.
I appreciate the twist at the end there. He wants to be the only one next to Sven that is going to hold.
He wants, he'll be the second guy.
I like it.
Also, Vulcan, in my interview with him, it was so confident. Said no question, we're the best spring split team. He didn't talk about summer, but he's like, us, we're the spring split team. So I got confidence in Cloud9.
Which is, okay. That's fair enough. I don't think you're crazy for doing it, but I do think I get a higher value, out of the other slide.
I mean, you only get value if they win, Kobe. So that's all I'm saying. Slide 3.
Sure.
Slide 3. More correct Mythic for Lillia. Is it Night Harvester or Liandry's Anguish? What are you thinking here? Because Liandry's was the more popular right out the gate.
Well, Liandry's is going to give you more DPS if you are DPS checking on a target dummy. The bonus for Night Harvester is the move speed, okay? It's all about, maybe if you land a seed and you're trying to chase someone down and you need that speed, the slow plus the speed boost on you with the Night Harvester proc is going to get you there. Then that would be the case. But honestly, I know Freak had a tweet. He said, the Blabber is one of like 4 people that built Lillia correctly, referring to the Night Harvester. And I was like, there's some variation in the games that you can go with, but I think he does put a pretty good value on that speed. And the burn from Liandry's also has good usages versus some team comps that you want more burn, you want more penetration.
All right, here's why I'm going to go with Night Harvester. And it's purely because the Mythic passive on it is Ability Haste, and I am a sucker for Ability Haste. Anything that lets me cast my abilities more often, I get excited by.
You just want to be perma-spinning on the Lillia.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like you said, the more, if I'm using spells, I'm moving fast as Lillia, and I think that just generally feels good. I do this stupid Ability Haste top lane Vladimir build. It's probably not optimal, but it's just fun to be able to Q somebody every 2 seconds. So for that reason, I'm going to go Night Harvester.
Okay, I'll stick with Liandry's then, so we get
for the DPS check
on here. Yeah, because if I don't, then it's going to be Freak's tweet plus you choosing it, and that's
the best argument against Night Harvester. Honestly, is that I have to side with Freak, and that's painful to do. But
you're
in this case,
around at your company over there.
Yeah, in this case, I'm going to stomach it. I'm gonna swallow that pill.
All right, next slide. What do we got here? It is more counter logic beating Cloud9 or defeat by the hands of Golden Guardians. The key is you put them together, that they beat Cloud9 and Team Liquid, by the way.
That's what makes it counter
back
logic.
to back, and then they lose to Golden Guardians. It's the whole story there. How do we choose just one part of the story?
Well, so I think we have to choose the ending. Because if you beat Cloud9, that was the beginning of the story, but the only thing that makes it, as you said, is the follow-up in losing to Golden Guardians. And so once you show us, and there's a piece of me that, again, looks at those players, Wild Turtle, Smoothie, Broxa, Pobelter, Finn, there's enough experience and talent on that I can see a world where you challenge Cloud9. Again, I would never call them favorites, and I would never have predicted or expected them to do it. But at least I could say there's some sense in those 5 players being able to craft a victory with a good enough lead. But then
you're talking up some of my variety pack.
That's a good point. But I think to then go and drop to Golden Guardians after that just made absolutely no sense, and that's the core of counter logic. So I'm gonna go with the defeat.
You had me at the very beginning when you said we just got to choose the ending. I was like, makes sense. We got to choose the ending because that was so funny. We have this whole story all split, and they're improving. And CLG, as soon as they improve so much and they beat these 2 most hyped up teams, Cloud9 and Team Liquid, then they lose to Golden Guardians, 10th place.
As we go to slide 5, the last thing I'll say is if they had beaten Golden Guardians, that roster of CLG would have been 5-4. They would have had a winning record to close out the split with specifically that roster. But let's see what 5's got for us. All right, heading to the lower bracket. Is it going to be Team Liquid or TSM? So we're into prediction time here, Kobe. I know you did your ballot, but have you thought much about the matchups?
Yeah, we discussed this on the dive, and this is the matchup that I believe to be closer than the Cloud9 100 Thieves one. I do think neither of them are blowouts, but I would have more of a weight in the Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves ones towards Cloud9. Slightly lower percentage there for 100 Thieves. This one is really dicey. Remember that in the regular season, TSM beat Team Liquid both times. And yet, Team Liquid would then go and beat Cloud9 both times that they played them. So you're going back and you're looking at your VODs and you're pulling up the games versus TSM and you're like, oh yeah, for sure, Team Liquid's going to lose this, Tactical, what is he doing? He's crazy. He's getting caught out all the time. What is this Tristana frontline? One of the games, one of the original ones was versus TSM when PoE's Syndra is, stunning him out with these long-range Syndra towards mid lane. And then he keeps on doing it and people are just like, what is going on with Team Liquid's late game? But on the other side, TSM have had very terrible early games, and that's where Team Liquid has been shining. Alphari has been bullying basically everybody in lane phase. So this is an early game versus late game decision right here. And I'm trying to even remember. Oh, I said on the dive, I said, I'm going to start with a 3-2 TSM, and then I'm going to message Jat today. And if Jat convinces me, then I will flip to Team Liquid. If the message with Jat fails to convince me, then I will stick with TSM.
You gonna message Bjergsen as well? You got to give him a chance.
True, actually, maybe I'll even up the DMs there and
Okay.
give both of them a chance. To even up right now, though, I'll side with the Team Liquid because their early game has been so good, and what they need to fix is the late game and sit down tactical. It feels like a lot of these, pickoffs towards the later stages should be easy things to fix. I think that should be easier, but yeah.
So in the same day, you've now predicted both TSM and TL.
Like I'm telling you, I gotta get I gotta
those bets,
the
babies.
coaches.
Yeah, hedge those bets. So that's the thing. Recognizing TSM's beat TL twice this split, I was actually going to go with Team Liquid for two reasons. Number one, we have seen incredibly inconsistent drafting out of TSM throughout the split. Where I'm not saying every draft for TL's been perfect, but TSM I think has struggled a bit. But I do think at least TL was very vocal about the fact that they were experimenting. And at the tail end of the split here, I thought a couple interesting picks coming out of the mid lane in the Ahri and the Veigar were really, really uplifting in terms of how I view the team. I think Jat, with more experience already as a coach, is going to do a better job of adapting throughout the
even though
series
I started
as a
with
whole.
Team Liquid, you're not convincing me with these arguments, even though I already technically chose this slide. Because the Ahri one, I'm like, you get
I'm not saying
for
Ahri's going to be the reason they win. I'm just saying, again, at least when they say they're experimenting, they actually did. And so I think they're going to hone in on a very specific game plan. TSM has just felt inconsistent in their drafting throughout this split, and not for any particular reason other than like just misdrafting sometimes. The second reason is Alphari. Back to the first slide. I think Huni is still a solid player, but I think Alphari's going to run him over to a degree. That guy has just been on another level, and they can always rely on him in a side lane and even within team fights to ultimately carry it. So I think it's going to be better adaptation out of Team Liquid and Alphari as an individual.
I think that's the key. Your adaptation point, best of 5. That's what we really want from this because like I say, like you go back and depending on which best of 1 VOD you're looking at, you're like, the decision is clear.
Yeah.
But we definitely need that data.
It'll be
really
close,
like this
though.
one. And I will say that for me, one of the big points where I was looking at good experimentation from TSM, after they stabilized in the middle of the season, it looked like they dedicated a whole weekend to split pushing, and they had Huni with those Jace games, you remember, and they really committed to trying split pushing. But let's move on. The slides like this, where you have to have a bunch of explanation, come down to a close choice, are going to take a long time. Harder to flash. Orianna ultimate, those are easy as hell, man.
Yeah,
you
super
can't
easy.
flash and make an Orianna ult harder to react to for someone, but you can flash with your Malphite, so you're point blank, and then make it harder to react to. So I say every time Malphite ultimate, if he's doing a full length one, he just runs up lane and you're like, wow, he's gonna ult me, then you can flash it. But Shockwave, it's so much easier to keep your eye on that ball. I feel like you have far fewer excuses for getting hit by that one.
100% right. The consistency of Orianna's ult is what makes it easy to flash. Like you said, it's always going to be the same amount of time that you have, and you can literally just pick a direction, hit the flash key. Malphite ult, he can short it, he can flash into range, make it a little bit more difficult. But honestly,
could be a psycho Orianna that puts it on her head and flashes you with the ball.
The sombrero, the good old sombrero. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, honestly, even Malphite, if there's a Malphite in your game and a team fight's coming, you better have your hand on the flash key. It's not a difficult ult to flash either, in my opinion, unless it's point blank. But there you go. All right, number 7, what you got for us? More excited to see Raz or the LCS studio, my friend? Woo, Raz did get his visa.
Yeah, I'm so excited for Raz. And I have to go with Raz because I've been waiting, since lockdown started. I've been wanting to get back to the studio. All of us are, everybody's been pretty down bad with this pandemic, but Raz has been in jail he's been sitting here hands tied behind his back, doesn't get to come on the show. He's watching. I feel so bad. I hear him through the wall on Hotline League talking to Travis and stuff, but he's been waiting on his visa for the entire freaking split. So I gotta go with my boy Raz.
Okay, so this is sort of an unfair slide for me to answer, and I guess I'm revealing a little something because I've already seen the LCS studio. So I'm one of the few people on the broadcast team who's had the opportunity to get in there a little bit early and take a peek. So I'm going to remove that one from the table.
But you haven't been to see Raz.
I have not been to see Raz. And not only am I going to get to have him on my desk, but I just miss Raz's friendship, man. This guy lights up every room that he's in.
Hey,
he's got jokes for days. You're right. No, you're right. Yes, I'm just saying I miss his friendship, that camaraderie. And so being able to hang out with him. Although I will say, at least him, when he's been off the show, that man is a social media content machine. Yeah. And if he's on the broadcast, there are going to be less tweets, less hilarious tweets. But no, Raz, look at that smile, man. I want him to dance on my desk. It's going to be a good time. Can't wait to get to work with him.
All right, I think that does it for us for this episode of This or That. Tune in to see who is going to be right about the TSM versus Team Liquid slide this weekend. Plus, we get the Cloud9.
Right, will it be Kobe with TSM or will it be Kobe with Team Liquid? It could be either of those guys.
I mean, honestly, it's a really tough call. Both of those two are geniuses.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, hard one right there. Tune in this weekend, though. We'll see you there.